Do you ever feel like the fear of the unknown is getting to you, and so your human instinct is to want to take some kind of action? Usually it feels a bit urgent or impulsive, but it's coming from that place where we think, I should do this. Then there's the opposite response where we collapse and we say, nothing matters anyway, I might as well just give up. Obviously that doesn't work either. What's left when things aren't coming as easily as you want them to? Maybe you need to get a certain amount of money by a certain time or move out by a certain date. I feel that way as well right now. I want to talk about how fear in these moments is not failure, it's actually direction knocking. When pressure itself becomes the guidance. And that space we can embody when we stop trying to will our way there and start collaborating with something much bigger that's already moving through you. Right now, I'm in an interesting pivot point in my life because I've already left the old paradigm behind. And I have built my life around this YouTube channel. I am not yet making any money from this. And I have no guaranteed timeline for how it's going to unfold, for when it's going to tip. I have a part of me that, through trauma and through a lot of loss of control early on in life, comes in swinging and wants to just figure it all out. If I just try harder, if I just grind harder, if I just hustle harder, if I reach out to a bunch of people, this part of me has learned the hard way that nothing works out when I do that. We end up burnt out and we end up hitting a bunch of dead ends. But both the planner and the protector are coming from the part of me up here that doesn't trust the bigger design happening. The deeper intelligence running through me. They don't see anything else. They only see what's in front of them. They only know what they know. Not only have they caused me to shoot myself in the foot a million times in my life, but they also learned that when they deferred to this other intelligence within me, we all end up winning in the end. And I know I will come back to this so many more times in my life because this is what life is all about. And especially on the spiritual path, when you realize that safety and security are all illusions, control is an illusion, nothing is in our control, and when you realize that, especially on the material plane, you realize that everything is an ongoing conversation with the divine, with source energy. And if it's not, then life is a hell of a lot harder. Then you are literally going to be thrown around by life and you're never going to feel like it's a collaboration. You're never going to feel connected to your creative potential. The truth is that there is this duality because we are human. We are, at the end of the day, still in this physical body, and this physical body is finite and it is fragile. And so these responses are protective for a reason, and they're there for a reason, and so there's no shame in going through this again. It's just balancing, and that's kind of the that's one aspect of the conversation. It's balancing or collaborating with both the humanness of this experience and the divine. So that goes for fear and surrender. So the body will have to relearn internal safety and build the muscle of faith time and time again, and life will always test you in new ways to keep that muscle growing. I started to share how life has never worked for me when I tighten my grip. I don't know how ego ran the show so much back then, and I know that it does, and I know right now it's not like this great awakening is leading to everyone awakening. Like, I know that there's this polarization happening right now. But yeah, anyway, back to me. I never, life has just, and maybe it's just like my wiring, my astrology. I've always been thrown on my ass when I try to grip life. Do I still have like those impulses? Of course. Of course. So I'll grasp at things, I will check things, kind of, I'll get into those habits and patterns of checking analytics more than I should or need to, doing things, little obsessive things that, are not changing anything at all. But my body and that part of myself, the protector, the planner, whatever, the manager, whatever we want to call them, they're trying. It's kind of like how when I go on roller coaster rides, specifically my inner thighs, like I will grasp, my legs will be like this together. Like my whole body will tighten up. Like I can control the ride like this. Like that's kind of the logic of the body, which is kind of cute and adorable. But yeah, I think the point is just like the roller coaster ride, like the whole point, you're going on it. We're on this roller coaster of life kind of to surrender. Like we are not in charge of this ride. We're not in control. I didn't realize that this was going to be a perfect metaphor for this, but here we are. That's why our bodies and our intuition, that's the only part of us that's tapped into this sort of larger fabric, this more subtle dimension of reality. And yes, it requires us to literally just take one step at a time. But then you go in that way and you listen and you start moving and you're like, you look around and you're like, how did I end up over here? And how did that end up happening? Like, how did that align so like serendipitously? And oh my God, thank God I got away from that person. I cannot believe, like, thank God you pulled me away from that person and that job. And like things make sense so much in hindsight when you do that, when you go down that path. Things happen in ways that they wouldn't otherwise. With that, of course, because that is just a direct reflection of the process of every time you surrender to that inner knowing, you are going deeper into your truth. And so all of that, like I said, is just a manifestation externally of that process. Going deeper into your truth it's like coming home a little more to yourself, peeling off a little bit more of the layers of fear and conditioning. And yeah, life does kind of have to wear us down to do that. Isn't that sad? Life wears us down, so we put the layers on, we put on these costumes and these masks, and then it wears us down until we crack back open. That's kind of what the human experience is, isn't it? And the spiritual journey at large. Because you are surrendering and you're moving away from the survival part of you or the fear, and you're moving towards this deeper, wiser, more powerful part of you, yourself, your soul. And your soul knows the way. So if control isn't the answer, and neither is collapse, then what the heck do we do? In these moments, the solution is a form of surrender to begin with. By surrender, I mean dropping the need for control, setting it down. And yes, that is hard. There are a million ways to make that easier, but that is hard. That is something we have to practice as humans through all kinds of different regulation tools and rituals and things like that. Movement, mindful movement, meditation, walking in nature, talking to trusted, regulating friends, co-regulating friends, being in calming environments, whatever you need to do, just daily routines that really connect you to the moment and to yourself and to your body are going to help you that much more. Because when we step outside of that part of ourselves, we stop letting that protector or manager or whatever part it is, whatever you want to call it, when we witness the fear and the control come up and we notice it and we step into the role of the witness and the observer, or the self or the soul, we actually open. We create an opening for the deeper guidance to be more present. When we're tuned into the urgent part of us, we're not listening to divine guidance, we're listening to fear. So surrender is the first place to begin, because that's how you literally move from that part of yourself into the wiser, slower, more coherent part of you. From here, you're going to actually get wisdom about what action you need to take. If you are very used to living from the fear mind, the survival mind, acting in the ways that you think you should, doing the things you think you should rather than listening to your inner guidance, then you might be surprised. by some of the feedback you'll get, or the guidance that you get. It might not be the right thing to society, but it'll be the right thing in your body. You'll know because your body will literally help you get there. It'll feel good. Does that mean it'll be easy? Not always. I have an example for this, by the way, actually today that I experienced. It might not be easy, but you'll know it's what you need to do. I had been putting off making a donations page for my YouTube channel since August. It's been quite a while. Why? Because I still think I have some stuff I'm working through with like emotional baggage around financial stuff. So I had put that off for months, and I've been feeling more and more pressure with getting things moving. And yet, of course, there's like I said, all these moving variables that are out of my control. But that was one thing that I knew. It seems small, but it is significant. Today, the pressure really kicked in, and I made the landing page. Obviously, long frickin' story short, they did not change my entire situation or get me the certainty that I'm still, lacking right now, and that I'll always be lacking. But those are very important. It's very important that I did that, and I felt and feel so much better having done them. That's a collaboration. When life gives you a little nudge and you respond and you say, okay, you're not giving me the answer I want, but you're giving me something. I'll work with you. I'll meet you there. Suddenly you feel that flow. There's movement because you moved. Well, you surrendered, then you listened, and then you knew how to move. You knew what to do. Your ego didn't. The only thing your ego knows how to do, hopefully, by the time we're done with this, is get out of the way. Slide right along, defer to the boss around here. Step outside. And then doing things like this connect you to your future. Again, really not a big thing that I did setting up that landing page, but that was me saying, hi, future self. I don't know when this is going to be important or when we're going to, how this is important, but I know this is a door opening right now, and I know that at some point I will look back and this is a significant moment. This is like a portal opening. So that feels good, even if I don't have that physical confirmation right now. The more grounding activities that you have in your day-to-day, the less time you spend in the mental sphere, the more time you spend in your actual body, the more you are guiding yourself into a more calm, safe, parasympathetic state. So you're already kind of physically or physiologically surrendering. Being present is surrender in a physical, embodied way. So sometimes there are pockets of time where life really is like, we're gonna make you wait. Because part of this lesson here is that you learn surrender, and you and surrender are gonna become real good friends. Like I said, move your body, get into your body. Whatever works for you to get into your body. Journal, sing, dance, go somewhere new, do something different. Try to find creative ways to tap into that inner wisdom. Whatever it is, there's infinite ways. Find what works for you, and eventually, the more open and surrendered you are, the more wisdom that comes in, period. And you will get confirmation, even if it's not like big windfalls or, whatever. You're gonna get confirmations, even if they're not out there, you're gonna get confirmations from here. Like I said, this whole YouTube channel has pretty much mostly been inner confirmation. And that's a huge part of it too, is just becoming so trusting in yourself and your inner voice that nothing else matters. If you are being guided by your body in a certain direction, that is wisdom. One thing to note is that in these moments, when pressure is trying to nudge us towards action and we avoid and we continue to avoid, that is when life stops whispering and it starts yelling. So when we really double down on the ego with control, trying to will our way in a certain direction, Or we collapse and we say, I give up. And life says, no, you don't. You don't have a choice. And kind of like, I was giving you a chance to make the choice, but you failed the test, so I'm going to make the choice for you, and it's going to hurt. That is how I learned the hard way so many times. Don't let that happen. Life is always going to give you options to step into your agency a little bit. Life truly is more fun and more enjoyable and fulfilling and easier when we make the hard choices. And by hard, I don't mean misaligned, rowing upstream. I mean, I think it's harder in a lot of ways, especially in our society, to not row upstream and to actually turn in, or collapse on the flip side, and to actually turn in and surrender and say, okay, body, okay, higher self or intuition or spirit or God or whatever you call it. Like, what do I do? What's our next move? Because when we do it like that, we are collaborating. We are co-creating. When we resist, we remove that collaboration and we force life or the universe to throw us back on our path. We'll always probably end up thanking them later, especially people like us who are on this path of awakening, where we are able to, we have the inner, infrastructure to look at things in hindsight and say, okay, yes, that was all meant to happen, for sure. Not everyone, that's true, but for many of us here on this channel, it is. But wouldn't you rather look back and say, damn, my inner wisdom has been right every single time, and I'm getting so good at listening to it. This is how you build the relationship with yourself, with your truth, with your soul, and therefore the divine and life, everything outside of you, everything that is a manifestation or expression of that. This is the process of it. So I say that because pressure isn't proof that something's wrong. I think when we're in survival, it's like, oh my God, things are going to collapse. Things are like, I feel things moving, the walls closing in, like everything is about to hit the fan. No. It means life is nudging you because things are about to shift. I just got goosebumps. Things are about to turn in some way. And no, that doesn't mean for the worst. Usually it means for the better. Usually it means in a significant or profound or important way. But things are going to move. And things need to move through you, and you got to get moving with it. Just remember that the blueprint is invisible on purpose, because if it wasn't, why are we here? Why are we in this human body, in this human physical form? If we knew it's like watching a movie, you know every single detail of everything that's going to happen before you even start it. Are you going to watch the movie? Are you going to be invested in the movie? No. You're going to be like, well, she's about to make that choice. Why did she make that stupid choice then? I know how this all turns out. No, we come here, we forget everything so we can go through it, be terrified, come back to ourselves, learn again, go through it again, be terrified, come back. I mean, it's a whole process because we don't know. Only that deeper part of us knows, and the whole journey is about surrendering to that deeper part of us. It took me until today to actually face the fact that, like, I'm on a timeline, and that's terrifying, and I'm scared. Like, holy shit, I'm scared. Why don't I think about how scared I am more often, you know? But when you actually come face to face with the fear and the story, the script that's kind of underneath the emotion, the energy of it, for me, it's, I'm gonna collapse on my face. Everything, you know, is going to be a big failure. But when you can face those lines and you can look at them directly and see them for what they are, and you're like, okay, those do sound pretty extreme. Usually, if not, never has anything ever ended up that bad. And then you think about all the times where maybe when life ripped you out of situations, you thought that that was going to happen and it was painful and disillusioning, but then you always end up on your feet and everything works out in some way. So you have that sort of like flashback, historical confirmation, and then you come back to the present and you say, okay, well, if that's the worst, and if I can imagine the worst, then let's imagine the best. This is the more cerebral approach, but this is a really nice way to parent those parts. I do think that reminding yourself that on a conscious level, it's not the deep, deep work, but it does help. And in the same vein, learning to metabolize and reframe pressure not as danger, but as direction, as a shift. Life is mysteriously intelligent. Never underestimate how smart and intricate and organized and divinely orchestrated this wild world is that we live in. Life is not betraying you. It's synchronizing. It is lining things up. It is working for you. It is teaching you. It is helping shape you into who you're becoming. The deepest, truest, most honest version of who you are, your core being, your truest essence. We have to be broken down a little bit by life for that. We have to have our grips loosened. Otherwise, we wouldn't even allow ourselves to expand or to experience what life wants to show us or the energy that wants to move through us. We would never let it happen. We'd be in a constant contraction. So when life forces us into uncomfortable situations, it's actually doing the most beautiful, amazing thing for us. It is saying, I know better than you, and you don't have to see that right now. All I need you to do is just take one step at a time and trust, even just a little bit, that everything is going to work out better than you can even imagine. What do you think that the pressure or the delay or whatever it is that's going on in your life that feels a little bit out of control, what do you think it's trying to show you? What do you think it's trying to teach you about trust, and what might be on the other side of that surrender? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more content like this. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna go to bed.